Hello, everyone. While the slides are coming up, my name is John Ellis, and I'm joined with Jennifer Miller, and we're excited to present a very vital aspect of community mapping, which is choosing the right location. We both are part of the Code of Carolinas, which is a project of the Social Good Fund, and our mission is to use technology for Carolinians in the service of a more equitable and just communities. And part of that, we collaborate on mission aligned projects in a partner first model, such as mapping projects, Open Sidewalks, and National Zoning Atlas. And today we'll walk through the process of deciding where to map with a matrix example and a case study to guide us. First, we'll set the stage with a scenario that we oftentimes find ourselves, which is starting a mapping project and finding a location. Then we'll introduce this criteria alternatives matrix, which really helps with transparency and decision making. And then finally, we will turn it over to Jennifer to walk through a case study of one of our projects and how we applied these principles. So let's just imagine, far-fetched imagination here, that you're part of a group that decided to do a community mapping project. The possibilities are endless, and scope creep is a serious consideration. There's a challenge in deciding where to focus your efforts. Some of the examples that come to mind, for example, when community-driven mapping projects are working with Open Sidewalks and Access Map, which focuses on mobility, mapping for equity, which focuses on urban inequalities through mapping. And then we heard earlier the humanitarian OpenStreetMap for disaster response areas. And these all are just examples of many ways of the transformative power of mapping. And your choice of location really determines the problems you can address and the communities you can help. So where will you all decide to map? We're going to be basing this off of Eugene Bardach's guide to effective problem solving called the Criteria Alternatives Matrix. And it's a structured approach for effective problem solving. And the matrix, which you will not see on this page, we'll introduce those on the next slides, is to help you evaluate potential locations based on the goals and priorities of your project. The first step is in identifying your criteria, which are the standards for evaluating the results of action or assessing the effectiveness of each location. For example, a project focused on bike infrastructure might prioritize mapping bike-friendly features. You'll also want to work on listing your alternatives or specific locations you're considering, whether that's cities, neighborhoods, parks, other administrative boundaries, or you might be limited in scope based on other data that you were looking for. So this is a sample matrix of putting those two together, where the rows represent your criteria, such as accessibility, volunteer availability, potential impact. And the columns represent your alternatives. These are the different locations under consideration. And you will fill in this matrix in the grid here, a rating based on how well each meets the criterion for your focus and your goals and values alignment with your organization. And using this tool in a structured way really helps ensure transparency and alignment with your project goals and helps produce a limitation on the scope creep of let's map everything. So I will go ahead and pass this over to Jennifer Miller, who will walk us through one of our case studies from our own Open Sidewalks project.
Hey, so off of mute now. This is how Code with the Carolinas used the Open Sidewalks project, used this method to decide where we would do our first Open Sidewalks project. We knew we wanted to partner on an Open Sidewalks project, but where should we map? We set criteria based on our goals for doing an Open Sidewalks project. We wanted a location where we had volunteers to do in-person events. We span 2 states, but people are not distributed evenly across the states. We wanted to have an impact for pedestrians with barriers to mobility. And we wanted to facilitate essential trips for those folks. We asked around through our members and other contacts, said, well, where do you think we should map? And suggestions were Raleigh, the state capital, Fayetteville, the city with the highest percentage of residents with disabilities due to their large VA hospital, and Durham, another community where we felt the impact would be aligned with our goals. So we set up our matrix and described each alternative based on the criteria. We were able to keep these pretty high level this time, but you can go more in depth if you need to and have the data available. As a result, we selected Raleigh for our first site because we have active volunteers there and because the state capitol has unique potential to facilitate essential trips, such as to government buildings. So you can see there that we this is the screen capture from the tasking manager showing the area that we selected in Raleigh for our project. Did we do it perfectly? No, we're kind of glad we selected Raleigh, but if we had it to do again, we'd consider some other things. So we want to share those lessons learned with you. First, ask how much of the area is already mapped. Second, look closely at the boundaries you draw. You want to extend the boundaries to meet key features such as the train station or the school for the blind. You also want to draw boundaries to include, not divide, such as an HBCU campus in our downtown area. Also consider administrative boundaries that may be logical places to draw a line. Think about whether it's your goal to show features or the absence of features. And ask yourself, do you need to map the whole area to achieve your goal? If your main goal is learning, such as for a class project, maybe not. If the goal is to support community with an app, then maybe you do. If you would like to learn more, please do check out the Code with the Carolinas website, especially our partnerships page, or you're welcome to email us at info@codewiththecarolinas.org.
Thank you.